Um, but this is some introductions. So, hello everyone, welcome. My name is Paris, and I actually only graduated from Geneseo in 2024, so I'm pretty close in age with everyone here. And this is called Unlocking Your Unique Paths, and we're going to talk about personalized career development and also my journey as a tech startup founder who is on the autism spectrum. By the way, I am recording this. It's going to be on Mastery Rising's YouTube, like me talking, so you can reference that. But also, if there's anything that I'm saying that's helpful, that you like, it's helpful to be able to listen to an audio or like video or something afterwards. I'm completely comfortable with taking any audio, video, and notes and stuff. After all, this is around accessibility, so it would make sense if I wasn't cool with that. Okay. So yeah, so who am I and why am I here? So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mastery Rising. Mastery Rising is a tech startup that I'm going to talk more about soon. And I actually co-founded it with my mother because, you know, that's something that people just do with tech startups. She is also on the autism spectrum, and she went to SUNY Geneseo in the SUNY system. While I was here, I was a business administration and a voice performance double major with a minor in the Eiffel Fellows program. I don't know if they're currently doing that right now. I think they might have paused, but it was a thing. And throughout my time here, advocated for accessibility. I was, first semester, one of the access advocates through the Office of Accessibilities. I also was the person that got noise canceling headphones put in every RA desk in all residence buildings, and even with Ron Roundberg, who doesn't work here anymore, but at the time got together some faculty focus groups for how to increase accessibility on campus. So that is sort of a big mission during my time here, and it's still a mission throughout my work, which you'll learn about. I'm here today because I'm here to help show everyone how to develop a career plan that meets your needs as an individual. And even though this is Neurodiversity Week, it doesn't just mean cognitively. It means actually thinking about real life constraints. Like, you're not going to be able to go to an in-person event that's an hour away if you don't have access to transportation. So, you know, there's virtual events that you can go to in your industry space. That's just an example. Also, if anyone has any pressing questions throughout this or something that's like not clear, they don't understand, feel free to ask. So, current challenges in the job market. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh no, everything's fine with the job market. It's tough. It is tough right now, and there's different reasons for that. But a big one is AI. As much as people are saying it a lot, and so it sort of feels like it's getting overused as the excuse, there is a reason for that. So if you think back to in about like the 90s, I don't know if anyone knows much about the .com boom, but basically that's where websites were like the new biggest thing, like how AI is now, and everyone had a website, and it changed a lot of things, and the internet changed a lot of things. And then social media changed even more things, and it came out before government regulation could catch up right away. Now, AI is that next wave of things, and it's changing how we do things, how we see things. It's changing what efficiency looks like. It's changing job roles. And so over 1.7 million layoffs have happened from January to November 2025. I put some source references, promise grab some sources, and about 54,000 of those layoffs in 2025 are linked directly to AI. AI can potentially replace about 11.7% of US jobs, according to an MIT estimate. And there's been a rise in unemployment rates for recent graduates, and only about 20% of young workers feel optimistic about job prospects. So that's just layoffs and competition. And then you get to workforce process changes. So AI is increasing performance expectations of employees, which means productivity, because you know how you take time during the day to do the more menial tasks of actually entering things into spreadsheets and stuff like that, and that can take up some of your work hours, so deadlines are pushed and you have a lot more on your plate. Well, now the powers that be, the purchasing powers that be in large corporations are like, well, you have this tool now, so you don't need to worry about those things, you know, it's all fine, so all of these things should be a lot better. Even though, just like any technological innovation, AI is not perfect, and it's not going to really honestly get that solid for probably another 10, 20 years, because there's still a lot more testing, a lot more iterations happening, and so it makes mistakes, but corporate America likes to adopt things that might cut costs. Don't worry, there is positive parts to this talk. But yeah, so then also with automated hiring processes, you may have heard this word ATS. If you have not heard it yet, you will, and it's basically just talking about that now when you send in a resume, AI scans it and looks for keywords and phrases, and if a certain amount of keywords and phrases match what they're looking for, you get moved on to the next round. If not, you're gonna get an automatic rejection, and it's not even gonna get seen by a human. That's actually not 100% new. Colleges actually were already doing that for a long time when it came to SAT scores. So they set in their computer system that if there wasn't a certain score that was reached when SATs was a huge thing, it would be an automatic rejection letter. But if you got that score and above, you would then, your application would be reviewed. Some colleges do that. They don't talk about that, but they do, that is a thing. That has happened at colleges. But now, also on top of that, it's not just on the hiring side of things where AI is being used for, you know, looking through resumes, to even conducting interviews and things like that. People are also trying to purchase technology to apply. So then they're having AI send out all these applications, which then makes it harder in the applicant pool because they can send out 100 applications a lot quicker if they've purchased AI technology. So it's just basically an AI talking to an AI. It's the same thing with a lot of email sales now. You send in a sales email with AI, and then the CEO's AI that they have purchased to delete all emails that seem like spam, deletes that email. So that's just the general job market right now. Now on top of that, there's additional barriers that a lot of neurodiverse professionals face. So we have all this going on for everyone, and then on top of that, neurodivergent adults face 30 to 40% employment rates in the US, which is 8 times higher than non-disabled individuals. Up to 85% of autistic individuals are unemployed, and 70% of US adults say there is a stigma around requesting accommodations. Traditional interviews disadvantage neurodivergent candidates because hiring often relies on social performance, eye contact, and unstructured communication. So, interesting thing too that I just learned talking to a CEO of a nonprofit where they work with people with disabilities for getting them on tracks for employment is that they actually are using a newer software that is developed to help people on the spectrum read and understand social cues that are happening in interviews to help them through the interviews, which I thought was really interesting. That's all I know about it. It didn't say the name, but just like a little fun thing. That was really cool to address that issue. But then, even if you do get hired for a job as a neurodivergent individual, you may encounter other barriers depending on that modality and the environment and the company culture. So often, open offices in typical environments can cause sensory overload. It can be the noise, the lighting, the movements, especially if you're like in cubicles with desks right next to each other and you could hear multiple conversations going on at a time. Honestly, that's one thing for me that's always been a big sensory issue, is that if I hear conflicting noises from different directions at the same time, everything, I can't focus. I can't deal with it. Just won't be happening. And there's also a lack of environmental adjustments. You know, same thing, lighting, noise control, etc. And this reduces productivity for people. And I'm not saying everyone's in different journeys. That's why with this personalized career development, you know, we talk about that because there might be some people that if they're, let's say on the autism spectrum, they got diagnosed at 5 and their parents are really great on educating themselves and getting specialists and figuring out how to exactly adapt to the environments they're in and how to navigate their workplace combinations. Or they could be like me and get diagnosed at 22 and not know about a lot of that stuff and have not grown up with that support and having to try and figure out ways to adjust my world that also doesn't adjust the other people's world around me. So, Now, with those problems, I saw that those were issues actually, full disclosure, after I graduated Geneseo. So I had been working throughout my time in college. I had been a contracted project manager, I've been a consultant. I've just been doing, working actually with my mom since I was like 18. We were doing a lot of consulting stuff. I got certified as a Scrum Master by about age 20, so like middle of college. And I thought that, I was like, oh, totally set. After I graduate, I'm so ahead of the game. I've been like working sort of like professionally in my industry for years already. And then I graduated, and then I was like, okay, so I'm gonna like apply to some jobs because our consulting work is dwindled a little bit. You know, maybe I'll just get like a 9-to-5 job or something. Wow. I was getting scammed twice. So the first one was, actually I don't remember which one came first, but one of them was, they said I got hired the job, and then it was my mother was like, this seems like a scam, and they were actually acting as a company that was a real company, but they were pretending to be them, and they were about to ask for my credit card information. The second one, I actually went for the first day, and I don't know if you've ever heard of what a devil corp is, but basically it's a lot of times this thing where they are technically a legal business entity that a lot of times they do door-to-door sales, and you work 100% commission, and it has this very ritualistic feeling in this office where there's like no furniture and all this stuff. It's read about devil corp, it's pretty interesting, but I was at one for a day. I realized that I was like, all right, I gotta quit. And so that was really discouraging for me. And so I ended up in the algorithms of like LinkedIn, where people were posting about how hard it was and that they've been searching for a job for so long, or even a year, they got laid off. And I saw how many people were having this problem, and the solution isn't just another like, oh, this is a tool that's gonna make your resume for you. This is a tool that's going to apply to jobs for you. Those are all out there. If you want to use them, great. But people are asking for all this stuff in between. They're feeling stuck. They're feeling like, I don't even know how to make the next step. I don't even know how to get myself to sort through my inbox that I'm late on, or how to decide how I'm going to pivot in my career. I haven't applied to jobs in decades, and now I'm laid off, and I have to apply in the age of technology. So we decided to make Mastery Rising. We were already doing consulting work, and we were going to do personalized career development courses. However, people really liked the idea of personalized career development. They did not like the idea of having to dedicate a certain amount of synchronous time and potentially interact with other people. You know, welcome to the age of people who grew up behind screens. So I was like, well, you know, it'd be really cool if we could just sort of like make something that gave them all the answers so they could just like work asynchronously. And I thought this was just gonna be a thing that like we maybe make some side money on, we put on our consulting website that's just like a quiz that gave you a roadmap. And my mom, who has also a background in technology, she was just like, all right, well, what else? What's gonna make them come back? You know, where they're not just paying less. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, it's a really good idea. I think we should make this into a tech startup, and we should add stuff. And I was like, what? And yeah, so that's how my mom got me to start a tech startup with her. By the way, besides being a little bit of a technical project manager, I had no tech experience. I do now, though. So we came up with, in our living room one day, oh, we're gonna build this this product. My mother actually, she hadn't coded in decades. She refreshed herself with us, and she coded this thing called a proof of concept, which is basically, it's something that just shows what you're working towards. It has bare minimum functionality. It looked like it was from the early 2000s and stuff, just to show that this is our idea, but you coded it from scratch. And then we went to some events. I'm like, all right, let's get a feel for what's out there. I'm like, I should start learning more about what's going on now in like the tech startup world. I went to events in Manhattan, which as an autistic individual was very wild to walk into a room with hundreds of people. You're supposed to figure out who to network with, then you have to over and over be like, hi, I'm blah, 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 how are you? What are you building? And try and navigate how long the conversation is supposed to go and things like that. I ended up working on that with a therapist through Prosper Health, which is where I got diagnosed. If you're considering getting diagnosed with autism, or you know someone who is, you're worried about cost stuff, they're really good approach actually. I did it through telehealth. It was like 3 sessions. It was $75. They took insurance. Just a little drop there. But yeah, so I went to those. I went to things hosted by Amazon and other big stuff, and it was really great and important. And then they're like, all right, we have to build this out a bit more. So we ended up, we ended up getting a developer who actually was someone who had worked with my mother on a previous project for another startup, everything. So she knew him well, and at first it just started out as, he was like, oh, well, if you want my feedback, like I could take a look. She's like, yeah, could you like look up what I built? You know, I haven't coded in so long. And he was like, I don't like how you organize the code. Can I organize it all for you? I'll do it for free, please. It just, I can't take it. It's, you know, like, and she's like, I want to pay you. And like, you know, I don't have the money to, so like, oh, it's okay. And then he kept asking. And I said to her, I'm like, you're really going to refuse free work right now when we are unfunded and building a startup from scratch. And so she's like, all right, let me just let him do it. And next thing you know, then he did a little bit more stuff, and now he's our founding engineer. He fell into that role, but he's very great. And so having a developer is very helpful. However, he's not going to get to do all of the tech stuff. So who do they ask? The least experienced person in the team, me. So I am very good at AI prompt engineering. Actually, also have experience tutoring AI and sort of lecturing in AI type things. And so they're like, oh, you know what, you should do the UI UX design. I'm like, I don't know the first thing about that. And I was like, well, figure it out, because you're doing it. So I use Figma Make. When you see our product, actually everything you're visually seeing in the product is what I designed. But so I had to build up a lot of technical skills. I had to learn how to do QA testing. I'm still learning things. I'm learning technical enterprise account management, and all of that fun stuff that I never thought I was ever going to have to do in my life. But I'm very thankful for it. So now we are officially publicly launched as of the new year, and we also just added a new feature. And so in these next couple of slides, I'm going to show you a couple of minutes of videos of what we have so far, so you can get the idea. And again, keep a note, because this is also for Neurodiversity Week. One of the main goals of this is that we make this from an accessibility lens. I wanted it to be something that you don't have to know anything about technology to be able to use. You don't have to read a lot in order to be able to engage with it. And you can just have a nice time, because there's so many tools that you have to use for things that you sort of dread using, or it's a nightmare to try and figure out. And I think that even though like career development is very important and it's very serious, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't allow yourself to have a fun time doing it. So this is first demo. How do I get the audio on? Is there a way?
Up at the top. Audio.
Yeah. Sorry, this will be in the bloopers reel. Oh, now it's shut off. It's a good thing we're a little ahead of schedule. I do this on purpose. Okay. Yeah. Also, shout out to Geneseo School of Business for having me adopt a business program. These are my assigned people that have been running social media. They're doing a great job.
Hey guys. Oh.
Does anyone have any questions while we're waiting? It's okay if not. I would play the like Jeopardy music in the background if I wasn't sort of lazy, but I'm just lazy enough to not do it. But just play it in your head. If not, it's not the most important. It's just it's not as cool of an experience when you're just watching things on a screen. That's it.
It might be on your laptop settings too.
Oh, wait. Is that my fault? Wait.
Yeah.
I just did.
Turn up this. It might be
Fun fact, guys, it might literally be my fault because I think I muted my entire computer.
There's
That's
that outside.
No. I'm like, that's not us, but I think that was the
You heard that,
Jeopardy
right?
theme song.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, we're just playing it.
That was you.
Oh, come on.
I was like, what the?
My fault.
No, you're good.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. You know what? We're gonna wing this because if I'm totally being honest with you, it was just cool background music that I got licensed. So, all right, then we're gonna do this challenge. This is only a minute and a half video, and the next one's only a minute video. So I'm then just going to narrate what is happening. It also has it on the screen. So this is literally just a brief walkthrough of what you interact with and what sort of a user journey looks like. Otherwise known as this is a demo video. So first, answer a few questions. It's really short. It doesn't take much time. Then you begin and you can view your roadmap. So it gives you literally step-by-step instructions of what to do, and you can add your own tasks, your own subtasks, and you can write and save notes and track your progress. So it basically becomes a project management tool to manage your entire career path. So that's the saving the notes there. This was actually requested by someone in a user feedback interview. They're like, I want to be able to add my own main tasks to the roadmap. I'm like, yeah, we should have had that. Thank you for catching that. So that was a recent addition. So yeah, the roadmap is basically, it's just to start off, but you can customize it to however you want. So after that, you can generate networking suggestions by answering 4 questions. And what this is that it basically brings up a bunch of relevant links to online forums, groups, influential people on LinkedIn and stuff like that. And it's based on your input of like, if you're an introvert that only wants to network online, that maybe like engaging in Reddit forum discussions and LinkedIn pages is good for you. And we just passed the gamified office because every time you take an action, you earn points to unlock digital office furniture, so you can decorate your own space and have it with you wherever you go. Yeah, fun fact about product demo videos is that the industry always wants them as short as possible because they are like, no one actually wants to pay that much attention. So make it very, very short, as some minutes. So that's the first part. So basically, if you were to listen to this with the audio, all it would be is some music that I licensed from Envato Elements. That's like that corporate instructional video music. But let me do this. I have to escape again. It's a good thing I made the video parts brief because I knew there might be technical difficulties. And now, this is of last week. This was a separate video. It's 1 minute long. We added a new feature and a couple of little updates. So this new feature is called Bulletin Board, and it actually is inspired by seeing bulletin boards on campus. So you can also, these are on YouTube, by the way, for someone who needs to slow down videos and re-reference, they are on there. But just like how there's buttons on a website that lead to different things, you can actually create your own custom buttons that link to any digital resource that you use. So it can bring you to the resume document that you're using, it can bring you to your digital textbook that you need for your class. literally anything, as long as you have the link to it, you can put it in. We also, so we do target B2B, which means business to business. So this is for organizations who have caseworkers where they can actually track their clients' career journey progress in the dashboard. And also now you can change the size of your office furniture to however you want, because that was also something a user said that they wanted. So I was like, cool, yeah, we'll do that. It's really that simple. If you just want to see something, that means that other people probably want to see it too. So you just say it, and then I just like scheduled to happen at some point. But so that is brief videos of the product, a very quick walk through. Yeah, the bulletin board honestly is something that I was even asking for because I regularly use it now because I was losing links to everything and emails and stuff like that. And so I was like, I want to make it fun and pretty. But now, this is where the interactive workshop part starts coming in. Is I will first preface this by saying, we don't ask for credit card information. Don't worry about accidentally purchasing something. So many people, I worry about that so much, and it makes me not want to try something. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this. So you scan this QR code, which means right now, or you look up masterhorizon.com. It is mobilely enhanced, by the way. I'm going to give everyone 5 minutes for this. I want you to pull your own roadmap because we're going to reference some things in this product throughout, and we talk about a few ways to do personalized career development. So I'm going to give 5 minutes for that. And anyone who's still working can work as I continue to talk, just to make sure that we have time. So yeah, we'll have a little bit of awkward silence, but this will set you up. And if anyone has any questions, please let me know. Multitasking here.
Yeah.
It's so funny that this is going to be in the video at the end of this. I have to cut it out. It's gonna be good. Yeah. Yeah. If you guys need to sneak up here at any point, hello, new person. We just started the interactive part, so if you scan that QR code or you type masteryrising.com and pull a roadmap, would be good. All you need is an email to send it, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Yeah.
What? Yeah, because you tried the product, so you could just reference it. Although it's a 2-week free trial, so it might have locked you out, so you might just have to look on it with your lady. What?
I'm waiting for it to load. Did you not hear what she just told you?
Because you did it more than 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he doesn't listen to anything I say.
No,
Yeah.
It was a 2-week trial, so it probably won't exist.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you might have to look on with your reference.
Well, I'm waiting for it to load.
Okay, so.
I hate Hewlett and Packard. Hewlett Packard sucks.
Okay, so let's give like 1 more minute. How many people are still working. Ryan tried it months ago and stuff, and it gave me feedback, that's why this is funny.
It was very good.
Thank
When I
you.
tried it, it was very good. I Facebook complimented it.
You did. You
It's
did.
very
I
important.
very much appreciated it.
I don't know. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Updated my computer.
Probably to clear the cache. What? What? That was not enough. Are a majority of people still working, or a majority of people like?
Mine's also now just loading.
Oh yeah, I will say, because this is where the AI comes in, it takes about like a minute to load the roadmap because it's doing like deep search and
Yeah.
Ocean water having to cool down when you serve.
Oh, you did.
You know, listen, I have an accessibility mission, so it balances out, we're fine. It's okay, it'll all work itself out. That's also why it's only a small part of our product. We are the applied AI people, we are not the AI chat people. Okay. So I'm gonna, for those finishing up for something ready, I'm just gonna slowly start talking. You can still continue to type and fill things in if you need, but yeah, it will load. That is the one thing that it slows. It just takes a minute to generate your roadmap. But so as part is going to be about full funnel marketing. So for those of you who don't know what full funnel marketing is, it's this framework that depicts itself in a funnel form, and it has 3 main stages. Sometimes broken down some more, but awareness, consideration, and conversion. And so if you were like a big company or something like that, what this would look like for you is awareness would be ads that you see for people to just know that your brand exists. And that's all that the awareness stage is for in full funnel marketing, is just to be aware that you exist. You don't have to know a lot, but just that you're there. The goal is, though, is to then get people to the next stage. This is why this is a funnel, because there's never going to be a world, you're never going to be that great of a company or that great of a professional trying to get opportunities where it's going to be 100% conversion all the time. So you're going to want to get, though, a portion of people to the consideration stage, which means that they are considering whether or not to buy your product, use your service, etc. And a lot of times that looks like going to the website, doing some more research, and just reading some more about the mission, the vision, how much the product is, what are the terms of service, whatever it is that you look up. So this is where the person is contemplating. And then the ultimate goal is the conversion, where you're going to get then a portion of those people, so the smallest portion, that are going to either buy your products, hire you for your service, or give you the opportunity that you want. But this framework can also be applied to you as an individual. So, and it doesn't matter what opportunity you're going for. You could be trying to get into a master's program, or get a fellowship, or get a job, or you're starting your business and you're trying to get a client to doing a freelance business. But you have your own awareness, consideration, and conversion. So we're going to talk about what that looks like. And by the way, the interactive parts of this are for you to use this information and then use the tool to get something in there. So and you can take, again, whatever notes you want, just interactive discussion. But, so awareness. So things that you have on here is posting on social media. For the world of work, LinkedIn is social media now. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna call it out. It's social. It's just the career sector of social media. There's even influencers. They are called LinkedIn top voices. It's social media, but it's good social media because for you personally, if you have a LinkedIn account, it has really good SEO, which means search engine optimization. And what's important about that, and AI is also changing that too, we want AI optimization that's forming, is that when someone looks up you or a keyword associated with your company or something, you want to be as top of a result as you can. So there's a million things on the internet. So we have competition, and people might have the same names as you. Luckily for me, my name is Paris Interdonato Carreras. Try and find another person in the world of that name, I dare you. But if you have a LinkedIn, you fill out a profile, what's great is that when you look up your name, if you have a lot of things on there, if your name's like Emma Martin or something, there's actually a lot of Emma Martins in the world, but that means you gotta put a lot more on your LinkedIn. But you Google yourself, and your LinkedIn is the first thing that comes up, and you have a LinkedIn profile for free. And it's basically like a free personal website. And you can have your whole work portfolio on there, a lot of information, so maybe people that are looking for someone to give opportunities, or someone that you interviewed with that they're like, oh, I sort of like them, I wanna consider a bit more. You're already in that consideration stage too. I'm gonna look a bit more through their LinkedIn. Oh, I see we have mutual connections. Oh, I see that they've been commenting on industry relevant posts. That means they must care about what's going on in their industry, and they have a voice and a say in it. So LinkedIn can be used for both, but yes, posting on social media accounts that you like to use and that you are comfortable with and stuff, if that is your vibe, is a great thing to do. If you don't like posting anything of your face, you can do text stuff. Also, if you don't like posting, that means that you just need other awareness things, which means that you're probably going to directly apply to things, or you're going to reach out to people via email and be like, hey, I would like to network with you. I am so-and-so. You know, either this is my resume or this is my link to my portfolio. Would you like to have a virtual meeting or something like that? There's longer explanations for how that stuff goes, but that's another workshop if we ever want it. But so, yeah, you can create your own awareness, and that if someone looks you up on Google, things that come up that are about you, if you're able to get that, it's good. Narcissistically, I guess, I Google myself every 1 to 2 weeks. I also Google our company to make sure that the things that are coming up are about me and are about our company. And the ways you can do that is, again, through posting things. You can even write blog articles just on your thoughts about different things in your industry or other industries that you're interested in to come up. And then they'll just pick up. But so then to get people into consideration, so if you're applying to a job too, the awareness stage would also be sending in your resume. That's really what your resume is at the end of the day if you're to apply to this funnel, is it's that awareness. It's, in a nutshell, who you are. It is not your whole life, it does not detail your whole story, but that's why we talk about keywords and phrases that are gonna, basically, it's not that, I think people feel like that, it's like, oh, what's gonna make them value me or think that I'm qualified. It's really, if you think about it, you just want them to want to learn more about you. And that's the next stage. It's like when you write anything, like in 5th grade, if you write an essay, the teacher's like, okay, now write it from the perspective of someone that doesn't read your mind or your brain. You have to put all the information on there to tell some sort of story that makes people want to turn the page. And the turning the page would be the consideration. So again, if you're applying to a job, you submit your resume, you submit your cover letter, that's the awareness. Hey, this is me, what's up? You know, want to chat in the future? Let me know, it's almost like dating that way. Then you might get an interview, or you might get to the second round, because a lot of hiring processes have multiple rounds. And again, this is where we talk about with, you know, being neurodivergent. That can be daunting for some people. If I'm being honest, for me with networking stuff, and this is personally for me, I'm not professional, so I'm not saying you have to do this, and this is a big disclosure thing. Now, what works for me is that if I have a conversation with someone and I can sort of tell that they sort of feel off, like I realize I'm not making a lot of eye contact with them, and they're wondering if I'm even interested in what's going on, or just something that they can't explain to themselves, I stop and I go, hey, you know, I just want to let you know, like, I'm on the autism spectrum. I realize I might not be making a lot of eye contact with you, or I might be rambling or something like that. I just want you to know that, like, I am really interested in this conversation. I'm really interested in you, just to clarify what's going on. And honestly, a lot of people now, they just go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then they're fine, and then they like, they chill out because they have an answer. People like to have answers to why things are happening. So I give it to them, like, hey, you don't have to do that, but that is an option. And honestly, for me, it's a very comfortable one now because I am someone, again, I'm blunt. I just like to have everything out in the open. I'm not great with social cues. I'm like, who knows? Maybe the other person isn't either. And they're like, what? Who are you? You seem like a cartoon character. Why are you existing right now in my life? But anyway, so that consideration stage would be like the interview, or if you're trying to get other opportunities for yourself, it would be whatever in-depth information you have on your LinkedIn, or videos of you giving talks like this, that people are gonna then go and watch, and they're gonna like internet stalk you a little bit, but it's okay. We want the internet stalking if it means money in the future. It's fine. At least that's my motto for the world of employment and opportunities. And then the conversion would be if you're applying for a job or an opportunity to actually get that job or opportunity. And again, this is a funnel where the biggest thing is awareness. A lot of people are gonna know who you are. Not everyone's gonna want to learn more. Some people will, and then some people will want to convert, want to give you an opportunity. But that's why it's important to get as much awareness as possible, as much consideration as possible, and as much conversion as possible. But I say now, if you want to try it, the networking suggestions feature that on the product that you just pulled up, if you click the tab, it is 4 short questions. Answer those 4 short questions right now. We'll give you like a minute. They're like yes or no questions, and see what networking suggestions come up for you for that awareness stage. Also, did anyone have issues with their roadmaps generating or anything like that, or? Okay, sweet. It's good for me, great.
Mine's still loading.
You're still loading?
Yeah.
Did you try refreshing the page, and also do you have a lot of tabs open?
I only have another tab open.
I see. Is it okay if I start with your screen?
Yeah, just refresh.
Okay, saved everything, so just, try it one more time. If you're still having issues, let me know. It is really good that we decided to put where all of your answers are saved on those forms now. That was like recent for us to put just in case. Majority of people still working, or is everyone good? All right, I'm gonna start yapping again. We cool with that? Okay, so if you do pull up networking suggestions, what you see on there is a list of, as I mentioned before, links. By the way, some of them might not work because AI web scrapping type things where it's either when you try and go on directly from something that was generated by AI, it doesn't want to let you in. Some of them, it's just that company has decided that to update that website domain at some point, so now it's not connected to the page. You can still try and research the resource. We have that disclaimer up there. This is like a new thing that we're working on. Again, we are early, but a lot of them do work, and it also just gives you the ideas of there's a million different resources and things to connect with. You don't just have to go to some big Wall Street conference and be like, hello, how are you? This is my business card. No, that doesn't, it can happen. Those do exist, and honestly, they scare me a little bit, but they happen. But you could also literally just go into like a Reddit forum with a bunch of people that are in your space and be like, hey, I'm working on this thing, I have a question about this. Could someone help me? Or hey, I'd like to get together some people to discuss this topic, virtually. Is anyone interested? Anything like that. There's a million different ways you can go about things. You could volunteer at industry relevant organizations and stuff to get yourself a foot in the door. But so now, we're going to go into, quickly, has anyone here heard of SMART goals? Talked about it? Good. So, yeah, I figured it's a little hot topic, but just go over, it means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And the reason why I added this in this neurodiverse talk is that thinking about something as big as like your whole career plan is very overwhelming, and sometimes you're like, I don't know where to start, I don't know how to break these up. That's what's great about this roadmap thing, that's why we did this, is because you don't know where to start from where you are, we'll just tell you. We'll give you some suggestions. You don't even have to like them. That's why there's that little trash can next to some of the tasks. You just be like, no. But we don't put in those tasks right away. We don't do the time-bound things for you. If you want to do that for yourself, you can, because we don't want you to miss some sort of deadline you set for yourself and blatantly then feel like crap that you missed it and feel unmotivated. You have to know yourself whether or not setting deadlines, hard deadlines, works for you, or if it's going to not work for you. But an example of setting a SMART goal would be the main task. I will send in 3 job applications within the next week. And then you can break this down into subtasks, which is a feature there. So you can add a main task and then you can add subtasks, all of which, even creating them, you get little points for a little money towards your little digital office furniture. But so a subtask 1 would be decide what jobs I will apply to. Subtask 2, research the companies. Subtask 3, update my resume. And subtask 4, fill out the rest of each application. And what's great with making things into subtasks is that you don't have to do them all the same day. So you can still move the needle forward by just doing one, or just starting one, or anything, but then just being like, all right, that's enough for today, this is my brain capacity. It's better than just looking at one, that main task of being like, I have to send in 3 job applications today, oh my gosh, and then you don't do it, and then you're laying on the floor listening to Bring Me to Life by Dear Evanescence and questioning your whole life. You don't have to do that. And that's why we have that right in the product. So you don't have to right now, but you do have SMART goals. Add them into your roadmap. And just let it help you project manage. And the reason why we put the gamification in there is because, again, we think that this process should have a fun and motivating element. And also we're looking to work with underserved communities through nonprofits. And there's a lot of people that it's either they don't have a home, so like re-entry programs, you want to work with them for formerly incarcerated individuals, and a lot of them need to still find housing. A lot of people are in an economic situation where they're technically living somewhere, but they're not really comfortable in that space, or they can't really afford the things that would make them thrive. So we want to, at least in the interim, give a visual space that can be with you on your computer, on your phone, wherever, whenever you want, that you can look at, that you're like, okay, no matter what, I have a place that echoes not who I've had to be because of my real life constraints, but where I want to get and what I'm working towards. And so that's that whole gamification aspect. So lastly, we're going to talk about briefly, this is the last portion of this workshop because I want to leave time for questions. You can ask me as candid questions as you want about whatever you want. Is surrounding yourself with the right resources. So I know I'm talking about my product here, which, you know, please use it, please share it with your friends. We want user feedback, we want, you know, people to know about it, we want them to have it as a resource. But it would be narcissistic of me to say that this is the only resource you're going to use for what you want to do. No, you're going to use, for education and upskilling, you might want to do LinkedIn Learning, watch YouTube videos, read articles, take courses, workshops, task/project progress management. Mastery Rising is a great tool. But also, you might, for me, I also use my Google Calendar to manage my whole schedule and all of my just mundane tasks each day. You might also, if you work in teams, you might use Jira. For work execution, Microsoft/Google Suite, they're basically like one and the same, just depends on what you want your user experience to look like. But you may use those to write resumes, create presentations. You might also use Canva to create presentations, and any tools you use to create work deliverables, because you all want to do different things, so you might all have to use different tools before you want to create it. If you want to develop something in software, you might have to use something like Superbase to do back-end development. And then last one, connecting with others. LinkedIn and social media, email, business cards. You could do digital business cards. I have one on my phone. If you want to network with me, you could scan this afterwards. You also have a digital QR code on your LinkedIn. Fun fact, they don't make that apparent. Friend discussion forums. All of these things, especially for neurodivergent people, what depends on resources that are going to help them. Sometimes it takes a village of resources, not just a village of people, but a village of tools to help with different parts of functioning. And that is why I created that digital, that bulletin board feature. So just so you know, on the phone with the buttons, they come up a little bit bigger. Now we're gonna fix that, where sometimes they overlap. They still do work, and on the laptop there's not that issue, but you can drag and drop them where you want. But I came up with that because also as a neurodivergent person myself, I end up using a lot of resources and then losing the links to them or feeling overwhelmed. And this makes it where you can connect everything that you do use to help you be your most successful self right into Mastery Rising, so you can find all those resources right away. So as you're working towards your career goals on your roadmap, you're like, oh, I need to update my resume. Oh, here's the button that leads to my resume document. Okay, let me do that now. So I encourage you, if you want to use this tool, you want to share it with your friends, or at least, try it. And there's 100% free trial, by the way. When the subscription, when that paywall does come out for a subscription, it's only $3.99 a month, because we're like, we get the job struggle hustle. We're not gonna make this expensive. That would be crazy. So, it's like pretty decent. But try connecting those buttons. Again, you can choose the color, shape, and fonts and everything. And have all your resources right on board and see how that helps you. It helps you, feel organized, and also identify what resources am I missing that I have to look up and seek out that might be helpful. Is it something like, for me, I use sometimes Read AI to make meeting transcripts for when I have virtual meetings, so then I have the whole summary and the transcript that I can share with people, so that way then I can give my undivided attention and I know I'm not gonna miss anything either way. So you have to find those tools for yourself and do that exploration, but when you do, you can put them right into here. Anywho, that was my talk on personalized career development and my path. So I wanted to leave a little bit less than 10 minutes-ish for any questions. It can be industry specific, I'll try and answer. It can be about the company, it can be about my self as an autistic founder, also on the ADHD spectrum, but I thought when you start listing things, people start zoning out. But yeah, so what questions, it could be also job application type questions or anything. I am also an experienced career coach and mentor, so I'm here. But yeah, but that was it. What questions? Yes?
I'm curious about why you chose get a degree in business here. Where did you start? When did you start finding interest in that area?
Yeah, so well, actually, to be 100% candid with you, when I was little, I said to my mom, hey, Mom, I think I want to be a singer, so I think I want to get a degree with music. And she goes, well, you better also get a business degree. But actually, I didn't really like business, and she also forced me to get a lot of work experience early. She was the chief operating officer of a nonprofit, and I had offices in Staten Island and Brooklyn, and she had me come and volunteer here and do work for them with their filing records and helping implement new online filing system and stuff. I was 14, by the way. Yeah, but so it was between here and Binghamton, actually. My mom would have went to Binghamton, but I came here because I was also going to do music, and I liked the fact that the audition was in a small space with just 2 people, and they were very nice and they connected with you. And I went to a very small school myself for high school. I only had 20 kids in my graduating class. So I know, I get that. Yeah, I get that one. But so I knew about the pros and cons of being in a small school, and I like being able to work with things where there's a lot of potential there, but there's a lot that I contribute to help that thing grow. And so I liked that here I could sort of do that. I felt like I could maybe have a voice to actually even try and change some things or make people think about things on campus to help me practice for life beyond college. And also, actually, my favorite teachers at my high school went to Geneseo, and they really helped me get through all of my high school years and stuff. They were very supportive, so I'm like, this must be a pretty good place to go. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
What do you love about being an entrepreneur and being a neurodiverse entrepreneur as a whole, creating this beautiful product and everything?
What do I love? There are a lot of things that I love. I do like the idea of being my own boss. But honestly, too, because again, I made this with my mom. This type of thing has actually always sort of been my mom's dream. She also didn't get her formal diagnosis until a couple of years ago. So going over 50 years without knowing that thing about yourself, you know, it means that you miss out on a lot of also like great coping skills that were uncovered in research later on in your life that you didn't get in your youth. And so she always wanted to like have her own company. She wanted to build her own product. She loves technology. She's been coding since she was 11 and stuff, but that's crazy because when she was 11, that was the 80s. So like, who was coding? You know, there's just like her and like two kids with circular glasses. That's it in the entirety of America. But so it was really nice that I could sort of help her try and pursue this dream of hers, and that we can do it together as a team because we are also very impact-driven people. So it got to merge two passions, and it's a family endeavor, which is scary because there's financial stuff involved. You know, that's a big risk, but it's also like I'm learning a lot from her and she's learning a lot from me too. And so that's something that's really great that we can show people that two women on the autism spectrum who are also mother and daughter can have a good working relationship creating a tech startup. Like, yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Are there any obstacles you found while being on the autism spectrum and being a founder? Are there any obstacles that have come with that?
It's funny. After you said any obstacles being on the autism spectrum, I was gonna go, haha, yes. No, well, so it's funny, I got my diagnosis actually after we had come up with this idea, so we had already started working on it. And honestly, I knew for like a couple of years, but I think y'all know that a lot of times if you say that you have something to a bunch of other Gen Zers, and they find out you don't have a diagnosis, they're like, well, you don't know, you're just self-diagnosing. That's not good. And that scared the bejesus out of me, because I also am very logical and literal, and was like, oh my gosh, if I don't have a diagnosis, then I'm lying, I'm gonna go to jail. But so it was then after I got diagnosed that I realized all the things that I was facing that were stuff that had to do with being on the spectrum that I wasn't aware of before. And honestly, one is being a founder and having to network with a lot of other like founders and industry leaders and investors at a lot of these casual events things in Manhattan. They're actually, a lot of them, they like do a lot more like glamour than you think they would. It sort of gives like Hollywood / like Broadway vibes, which is something that like I grew up in performing arts, so I was like, I'm chill with this, but it's weird that it's in this sector. But it's like it's like very, it almost feels like you're, I don't know, networking at like a frat party sometimes, I don't know, and like literally they'll have things at bars, and one, I'm 4'11", so I have to walk up to someone and try and go, hello, and they're like, oh, what are you, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a CEO, but navigating those conversations and considering that elevator pitches and things are involved, it's figuring out what to say, how to look while saying it, what body language to use. I manually think about all of these things. And typically, if I'm meeting with you, by the way, if we schedule a meeting on my calendar, you can best bet I internet stalked the crap out of you in order to prepare. And I've listened to, if you posted something where you did an interview or something, I listened to that to understand how you talk, how I should talk in a conversation with you, because I tend to mask a lot and things like that. So in settings where I can't prepare in that way, it is challenging for me. And it's something I've been working on because it's always been hard for me to just figure out how to be myself, because before I knew that I was on the autism spectrum, I was just constantly like masking in every situation. And I always had fun in whatever situation I was in because I liked meeting new people and doing different things. But then when you're expected to then know who you are and to like have like your brand before your frontal lobe has fully developed, I'm like, no thanks. No, but I had to know, it's something I've been working on. But yeah, that's definitely been a challenge. Any other questions? No? Oh, look at that. We're like exactly at time. I didn't talk too long. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Feel free to come up, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you look up my name, it'll be the only thing that comes up. And if you have any questions for me that you didn't want to ask in front of a crowd, because that's not really a thing, you can ask me it now. But I really appreciate everyone being here, and please, if you could do me a big favor and just share with your friends, like masterizing.com as products, have them try it again. doesn't ask for the credit card information. You don't even have to put your name. You saw how easy it was. That would be a big help to me because we are a family team that has no marketing budget yet. So
Instagram.
yeah, we do have social media. The social media team has been working hard. So if you look at Mastery Rising, you'll be able to find all of those things, and we post little helpful tips and resources as well. So yeah, thank you so much for coming.